In this video, I am turning one of my medium bowls. This is roughly 7 inches. I don't know the depth. A little different today. This one floated on me, the piece of wood. So it's got a double pour. I kind of went with the ocean waves hope. It should be a little different, and I'm going to get it mounted up and we'll start turning. Good day, everyone. As past nervous me was trying to say, a lot of people don't think about it, but when working with resin, wood floats, and so you have to secure it down some way to the bucket. People tape it wood down, put a waste block in there. I personally just glue it down with some hot glue, but sometimes that means that the hot glue will let go, and so that's what happened on this bowl. Poured the first layer, which was the blue, and it let go of the bucket mold that I use. And so instead of just like flipping it around and turning a bowl that way, I decided to add the extra little bit on top. I can't tell, I'm a little nervous in front of the camera. I don't know what it is. Every time that thing turns on pointed at me, I get a little ugh. But I did want to thank everyone that watched my last video. It was surprisingly popular. Right now I'm well over 2,000 views on it, and for me that's just crazy. So wanted to say thank you to everyone and all the new subscribers. I appreciate it. So here we're just starting her out, getting it shaped and, well, rounded and then shaped. This one was pretty interesting. It's one of the hardest things about doing these wood and resin bowls that people don't think about is the going from cutting resin to cutting wood is not necessarily difficult, but it's a challenge. Your tool tends to hop. This one went pretty smooth, if I remember right, but that's also a reason why you'll see me switch tools a lot, from the carbide to the gouges. Carbide works wonderful for resin, but I feel like at least the gouge, it cuts the wood better and it leaves a better not finish, but just a better cut on wood. So you kind of have to balance the two out. And that's why you see me switch tools all the time. One of these days I'll figure out how to set the camera up so you can see the tool working a little bit better. Every video I do, I'm trying something different and trying to get that view a little better. I'm just so used to cranking out bowls just to sell and not record that I put my hand really close to the bowl for support. Making videos, that's not necessarily the right thing to do. Here I've got my pre-measured bottom, and that's just the smallest size that my chuck can go. So I have to cut where that line is, but I can always make it bigger or smaller, or not smaller. Can't go any smaller than that. Then once I get that insert cut in there, and then I can see how much of a bottom I want to put on it. Sometimes I go thin, sometimes they're nice big thick bottom. Just kind of depends on the bowl. I like leaving that dust and scene in there just to show people how messy this really is. Well, there, I didn't get the iron hot enough. When you're branding, this little branding iron doesn't necessarily work that great on the resin, but if you get it super hot, then it'll do half decent job. Finish the bottom up so I can flip her over. Personally, I think one of the most entertaining things about doing this is cutting this hole here. I don't know why it is so entertaining for me, but small things, you know. So here I put a bit on so I could get that smaller bit down lower. I try and leave that big bit nice and sharp. So I use all my smaller ones up first. Visually, I think this is the most entertaining, is watching the material just fade away fast. And even in real life, it like that first inch or so of the bowl takes a little bit of doing, but then once you start getting a little deeper in there, it goes a lot faster. Like all this wood here, it just rips through it. But you can just rip through it. See how fast that gouge just goes through that wood? The carbides can do that too, but not as clean, not as satisfying. Now, primarily, I like to use my bowl gouge for the bottom of the bowl. But when they get deep like this one, I think this one's around 4 inches. It's hard to get your bowl gouge down in there in the angle you need. So that's why you see me switch between the two. The most stressful part right here is just cleaning it up. And then sanding. For the most part, I've jumped all the sanding up to a pretty fast speed. I know it's not the most entertaining part of the video. I often think about cutting most of it out, but at the same time, I do like to show my process. So here I sand from 80 to 220. And I do that dry. I also sand both directions. I just feel like it helps out with not getting lumps in the material and makes it a lot smoother. So here I'm switching to wet sanding, and I do that for the finer grits. I go all the way from 320 wet to 3000 wet as a wet. And I do that because these finer grits, if you try and sand these finer grits dry, within seconds they're just packed with sawdust, and so you're actually just sanding the bowl with sawdust instead of the sandpaper. These I also switch it both directions. It's kind of hard to tell in this view here, but I do both directions with each grit. Here we are doing the finish. I let the bowls sit at least overnight just to dry out the wood that much more before I put this finish on. And I actually, for my finishes, I just use a product called Yorkshire Grit. It's not a sponsor, um, but I found this stuff out and fell in love with it. And I don't use anything else. No chemicals, no lacquers, no nothing. Just Yorkshire. And here we go. It's done. I'm just kind of buffing it a little bit, making it. Sometimes you'll get like streaks from it spinning. So I'm just taking that off. All right. Well, that's it. I just wanted to say thank you and appreciate everybody that watches my videos for as long as they can. I hope you all have a good day.